Camping season is upon us, and you might be wondering what area is the best for some family dirt bike camping in BC. I'm gonna list a few of my favorite and least favorite camping spots based on my own experiences. But first, hey, I'm Angelisa. I am a dirt bike enthusiast who absolutely loves to go family dirt bike camping, and I have two daughters who love to dirt bike as well. We find dirt bike camping to be the best family activity, and we're always learning something new, and we're also exploring new areas, which I absolutely love. I'm also checking out my enduro park. We still have some snow, but the kids' track is starting to open up, so I'm just checking that out while I'm talking to you about camping. A little bit of a backstory: we have been dirt bike camping for the past 8 years, and we have been to quite a few dirt bike camping areas. In this video, I'm going to break down each area that I've been to in BC, Canada, and give you the reasons why I loved it and why I didn't love it. So I'm going to be rating these areas, but you might be wondering, how am I going to rate these areas? Dirt bike is specific here. We're not just going out to go camping, we are dirt bike camping. So these are the things that I'm looking for as a moto mom when it comes to dirt bike camping. So number one is that the campground needs to be family friendly. It needs to have great dirt bike access where we can leave the campground with our dirt bikes. There needs to be a kids zone for dirt bikes, like a kids dirt bike track or kids dirt bike trails. Everything needs to be easy and simple when it comes to dirt biking as a family, especially when you have little ones that are just learning how to dirt bike. We started out as a family dirt bike camping when my daughter was 3 years old, so she was on a little Honda 50cc with training wheels, so we wanted to take her somewhere that was close by to the campground. Number two, the trails need to be marked. Again, I am a dirt bike mom, and I am riding with other dirt bike mom riders, and so our time out on the bikes is limited. The last thing I want to do is spend time on my phone looking at Trail Forks or Gaia or the map to figure out where I'm going. So to have trail markers in the trails is key, optimal. I love to see it. I get so stoked when there are trail markers. I understand that not a lot of areas have trail markers, but it does help, especially when you don't have a whole day to go riding. This way we can be respectful to the dads, to the moms. We have our chunk of time to go out and ride, and usually we swap out. So the moms go out, then the dads go out, whether it's the morning or afternoon. We're always switching vice versa, but we want to be respectful for times. We want to make it home on time and also spend time with the kids and dirt biking with them as well. Number three is the space when it comes to camping with dirt bikes. We have a trailer. We have a 22-foot toy hauler that's very tall. It's not long, but we do like to have the space not only for the camper, but to do a whole lot of dirt bike maintenance. If you're anything like my family, this is a time where we tinker on our dirt bikes, where we're swapping out tires, or we're changing air filters, or adjusting cables, levers, that sort of thing. So if you could imagine, we need the space to do a whole lot of dirt bike maintenance. And when we are dirt bike camping, we're usually camping with other families that dirt bike as well. So you can only imagine how many dirt bikes there are in the facility that we're going to be camping in. So having space is key. Obviously, camping with our friends is key. So those are the top three things that I'm looking for to create a better experience when it comes to dirt bike camping as a family. All right, let's start listing off all the campgrounds that I've been to for dirt bike camping. Number one is Tamahai Creek Campground. This is a campground where you have to pre-book, which loses your chances to be next to your riding buddies or other families that you usually camp with. Now, when we went, that's what happened to us. We weren't near our friends, but we weren't far, but it was far enough. None of us knew the area at Tamahai, and the trails weren't marked great. So we actually knew a gal pal who rides in the area who knew Tamahai, and she took us out to ride, which I am so grateful for because it reduced our screen time when it came to checking the phone, seeing where we were at on Trail Forks, and we got more riding in, which is key. However, one thing about this campground is that there was no kids dirt biking area. You couldn't take the kids dirt biking in the campsite facility. We could leave the campground on dirt bikes, which was great, but the other thing too is Vetter, which is another riding zone, is we had to haul our dirt bikes there. So we had to load up the dirt bikes into the truck, drive to Vetter, and then ride Vetter Mountain. Now, I loved Vetter Mountain, super flowy, it was awesome, it was great. I absolutely loved their enduro skills park. And because there was no kids area or kids zone for dirt bikes, well, my daughter, who was 6 at the time, couldn't dirt bike, so she did not get any dirt biking in, which was a big bummer on our end. I'm gonna rate this family dirt bike campground a 3 out of 10, only because it wasn't dirt bike specific campground. It was near dirt bike trails, but it wasn't a dirt bike specific campground. Therefore, we couldn't really take our daughter out dirt biking, and it just became a little bit harder to do those activities as a family. At least that was my experience. Number 2 is Bridal Falls Campground. Now, this campground is another area where you have to pre-book, and it is not a dirt bike specific campground, yet we did camp there to go dirt bike camping. So why do we choose Bridal Falls Campground? Well, that's because it's right near Popcom. If you don't know Popcom is basically a moto facility. They have a moto track, they have enduro trails, they have enduro skills park, and so we made it a weekend where we would camp and go dirt biking. Now, we weren't there for the Bridal Falls water park. We were there to go dirt bike camping. I just have to say that before you come at me in the comments when I rate this. So, could we dirt bike from the campground to Popcom? No. The campsites were so small, they were so tight, and again, we had to load up our dirt bikes to hit up Popcom. No riding area for the kids in Bridal Falls. However, there was a kids track at Popcom. Again, Popcom had everything for a family dirt bike weekend. And recently I was at the Motorcycle and Powersports show in January. I talked to the guys from Popcom, and they did tell me that they do have a first come first serve camping facility in their parking lot, basically. So you can do camping, dirt bike camping there. It's just a first come first serve policy, and they just can't guarantee you a spot. But hey, that's okay, because a lot of these dirt bike campgrounds, OHV campgrounds, are like that. They are a first come first serve basis. That's how they run things. So I'm gonna rate Bridal Falls a 1 out of 10, just because it wasn't dirt bike specific, and we did choose to go there because we just weren't sure if we would get a spot at Popcom. Now, Popcom, I'm gonna rate in another video when I actually do camp there, because I think we should still do that. I think Popcom is a great area where you can do everything moto, from the track, enduro, get some trails in. I think it's a family fun weekend to be had on dirt bikes. I don't think I mentioned this, but Bridal Falls Campground, Popcom, is still in the Chilliwack area of BC. Number 3 is Greenstone, which is just outside of Kamloops, BC. And this is a OHV specific campground, dirt bikes, ATVs, that sort of thing. Greenstone is probably the best dirt bike camping area, but is it family friendly? From my experience, when we did go to do some dirt bike camping, the host got upset with us because our kids were dirt biking in the campsite. The kids zone to go ride dirt bikes was far away. My youngest daughter was 3 at the time, again on the 50cc on training wheels, and the kids zone was far away from the campsite, and it wasn't easy for her to get to that zone. So we would have had to load up her little dirt bike just to go to the kids zone. Another thing about Greenstone is it's not well marked at all. If you were not on a time schedule, maybe you don't have kids, then the dirt bike area is your oyster. You can go all day, check out all the trails. There's no time crunch. You don't need to be back at a certain time. Then I think the area is the perfect place for you if that's your type of riding. But for me, because I am on that time crunch, I only get a few hours, which means I gotta get my riding in and then come back and be a mom. So another time we went out, we spent a big chunk of our time, us moms, on the FSR roads just to get to a riding destination. So altogether, it's a great area for dirt biking, probably one of the best, at least that's what I've been told. But my experience, it wasn't the best for family dirt bike camping. And so I'm gonna rate it a 5 out of 10. Don't come at me at the comments. If this doesn't apply to you, if you don't have a family and you have all the time in the world to go dirt biking, then I would say definitely hit up Greenstone. Number 4 is Onion Lake. Now this campground is just outside of Lytton, BC. This is a designated off-road camping area. It is first come, first serve. It is close to home, which I love, and it is extremely family friendly. We were able to camp next to our friends. There was tons of room, and the trails for the kids were endless. You could literally drive from your door to the trails. That's something that I loved about it, is the endless trails for the kids. It was the first time that we rode together as a family on dirt bikes. Now I understand that my kids are getting older and dirt bike camping is starting to become a little bit easier, and Onion was a place for that magic to happen. However, it is a busy place. If you plan on going on a long weekend here in BC, chances are the campground is going to be full. I swear all of Pemberton, Whistler, and Squamish residents go there to camp and dirt bike. So that's one thing to look out for. But do I think that it's a great family dirt bike camping campground? Absolutely. And so I'm gonna rate that a 8 out of 10. And the only reason why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 is because it did get very busy at the campsites, and perhaps the privacy wasn't all there, but it sure was great to see so many friends. Everyone I knew from Pemberton was there, and so that was nice. And even when you're on the trails, you hardly see anyone because there's so many trails to be driven on. So yeah, in my case, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And I'm excited to explore a little bit more because I've only been the one time. All right, and number 5, the last one, is Bear Creek OHV campground, located just outside of West Kelowna, BC. This campground is OHV specific, dirt bikes, ATVs, and it is such a great campground. There's a ton of space. It really does feel like you're camping just with your buddies. Even though the campground could be full, you really do feel like you have a private area to hang out in. They have an amazing kids track. They did have a recent fire a couple years ago. The kids track did burn down, but the amount of work the volunteers put in to expand the kids track, they've included a few obstacles, so some skills for enduro riders. My daughter, who is now 10, she's now riding through all of those stuff and hitting the logs. The trails are so well marked and so well maintained, and that's one thing that I love about it. Again, being a mom and on a bit of a time crunch, we know where we're going because everything is marked and we know how to get home. They provide maps. All their trails are on Trailforks or Gaia. I don't know actually if they're on Gaia, but all their trails are on Trailforks. And so it's really easy to navigate, especially if you've been going over and over again like we have. We've been going to Bear Creek every year for the past 8 years. Another thing that I love about Bear Creek is that they have the Enduro Skills Park. I love it. They just recently changed it up, added a few harder features that I'm obsessed with, and they also have a moto track just down the road on the FSR road where you could either load your dirt bikes and ride the moto track, or you can drive from your campsite on your dirt bikes to the moto track. So this area is really an area for all types of riders, from enduro, hard enduro to moto. I think that it's one of the best family dirt bike campgrounds because it is so simple and it's so easy to navigate. The kids tracks right there. So I'm gonna rate that a 10 out of 10. I love dirt bike camping, and it's gotta be one of my favorite things to do as a family riding together. I am looking forward to checking out new areas. I would absolutely love to check out Chipmunk, which is near Chilliwack. I would love to go back to Onion Lake, and I would absolutely love to stay at Popgum within their parking lot or their facility. But let me know, what is your favorite dirt bike campground that you love to go check out as a family? I would love to know. Maybe I can add that to my list. All right, thanks for hanging out with me today, exploring my backyard while the snow melts. And until our next hangout, keep killing it safely, be the vibe, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.